Hi, I'm Alek from Comar.org, and welcome to Santa's Workshop. By now you've probably seen my 26,000 Christmas lights and probably turned them on and off a few times. Rest assured I have pretty understanding neighbors. But today we're not going to look at those lights from the outside. We're going to take a behind the scenes look, and I'm going to show you how all that works. By the way, for 2005 I'm using my Christmas lights to raise money for celiac disease research. So if you enjoy the light show, please consider donating to this worthy cause. Here is one of the Christmas cams that are actually used. This is Christmas cam number 3. It actually sits right over there in Santa's office. I'm going to fire up a little bit of speeded up time-lapse video to show you what type of images it generates. It's a D-Link 6620G wireless webcam. Has a little pan and tilt and some optical zoom. I do not give people on the internet control over those functions, but I'll occasionally kind of zoom in closer. It also has a wireless capability, as you can see back here. Use a standard 802.11g to send images, and then also allow me to do control functions. Now, the way this works is every couple seconds it will FTP a JPEG image up to the Comar.org web server. From there, that is rebroadcast or reflected out to all the bazillions of web surfers that are checking things out. If you think about it, it obviously would not work very well if all those people were trying to access the webcam directly through my Comcast residential home connection. I did pay the extra money for the higher speed service, so I have an uplink capability of 768 kilobits per second, but I certainly don't have a gigabit pipe. Take a look at the website, Comar.org. There is a lot more discussion about some of the scalability aspects associated with this project, but that certainly was one of the more challenging things that I had to do, and it was really kind of a whole lot of fun. It's really, this camera right here will do streaming video. It actually does a semi-decent MPEG-4 stream. It is pretty funny watching it here on my house land, because I can actually see Frosty go up and down in 10 frames per second. I have chatted with D-Link. Unfortunately, they have not been able to give me a solution to rebroadcast that for you to see, so what you get is a series of still images rather than a streaming video. Well, people enjoy viewing my Christmas lights. I think the part everyone likes best is turning them on and then turning them off. I'm going to show you here in Santa's Workshop how you're actually able to do that for 2005. In addition to these lights, we actually have Santa here, and he plays some nice music in the background. I'm also going to put a little time-lapse video here to show you kind of what it looks like over time. That music does get annoying after a while. The Christmas lights are just regular AC powered Christmas lights. They plug into an X10 control module. It looks something like this. Then there are scattered throughout my house X10 wireless receivers. Looks something like this. And then one can use this X10 transmitter to send a signal, which is received by the wireless receiver, which is then sent through the house wiring, and voila, we have Christmas lights on. By the way, you may have noticed that clicking noise in the background. Yes, here at Comar.org, or actually my house, you can actually hear Christmas lights, and that's when things are pretty busy on the website. So people wonder, since my website seems to be fairly popular, if the lights on my house are actually changing like hundreds of times a second, as you can kind of see in this time-lapse video here. That's not true. X10 is a fairly slow protocol. You can only send about a request every second, every other second. So the Comar.org web server enforces what I call a rate limiter, or a queuing mechanism. So if someone turns the lights on and 5 or 10 people in the next 3 seconds come along and try to turn something else off or on, it says, "I'm sorry, you'll have to try again a little bit later." Now, I've demonstrated using this wireless remote, but believe it or not, guys, I don't sit here all night long and turn the lights on and off. That part of the solution is handled by this 3-year-old Sony VO laptop. And this laptop has what's called a X10 serial interface, or a firecracker. This plugs into the bottom of this laptop, and so what happens is the Comar.org web server, which is located in Dallas, Texas, gets your request to turn the lights off or on or whatever. It sends the request down to this laptop, which is in my house, and then it uses this wireless interface right here, which plugs in the serial port, to send out an on command or off command, very similar to this controller right here. The whole thing actually ends up being pretty reliable. I would say about 90 to 95% of the time when you click on that button with the Santa cursor, a zone of lights on my house go on or off, which I think is pretty impressive for a real-world application dealing with real-world issues. Finally, the thing that kind of ties it all together and makes it all work, of course, is software. For the techno geeks out there like me, the web servers are running Linux with an Apache web server using mod Perl, and I've written several thousand lines of Perl code that kind of all tie it together and make it work. There's some serious scalability issues associated with this as this has gotten fairly popular. And so things are distributed over a couple of web servers, which in itself is a challenge because what you're seeing is a dynamic real-time application. So it's not something that can be easily load balanced. Finally, you're welcome to be skeptical that you're actually turning my lights on and off. Well, I could just be sitting here, with the remote, doing that. But certainly I've demonstrated that it's quite technically doable. I do get a chuckle out of the Einsteins on the internet that say there's no way that can be done. Well, I got news for you. We put men on the moon 30 years ago, and for 2005, it is absolutely true that you can go to comar.org and turn my 26,000 Christmas lights on or off. In closing, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoy the light show. Consider donating to celiac disease, and a special thanks to my family, especially my wonderful wife Wendy, who puts up with Clark Griswold here. A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you.